What's up, hello? I hope you all are doing well. Today's review is part of our Shelf Sisters series, and if you don't know what that is, you're welcome to find out. Or if you don't care, then that's also fine too. Maybe you just want to know about the book. But either way, so In the Heart of the Sea is a nonfiction book that I have had for about 5 years, and Bex picked this out for me to read, obviously, because it's been on my shelf for 5 years as part of our Shelf Sisters series, and also because she was pushing me to read a little bit more nonfiction, which is her favorite genre. So, curiously, the copy I'm holding in my hand right here, I've still never actually read. And because of the life and times in which I live, I actually listened to this on audiobook, which I think was an excellent choice because this is a piece of narrative nonfiction. This book tells the story of, as it says in the subtitle, the tragedy of the whale ship Essex, of a whale ship in 1819 that set sail from Nantucket, which is a small island off the coast of Massachusetts in the United States, and went out with a 20-person crew and came back with not nearly as many, and also not with the product that they were looking for. And this book sort of traces the entire tragedy from the history of whaling on Nantucket, how it got started, how it really affected that particular community, even everyone from the indigenous people that lived there before it was resettled by white colonizers. It traces the effect of Quakerism and how that religion affected the society and the dispositions of the folks that went out on the boat, and it traces everything all the way through until the massive tragedy that this whale ship wound up becoming. I was drawn to this book originally because I'm interested in maritime things and boats in the eastern seaboard of the United States, Nantucket in particular, because of its deep history in whaling and its connections to Herman Melville. The tragedy of the whale ship Essex was actually part of what inspired Herman Melville to go ahead and write Moby Dick after his time on a whaling vessel himself. And this book, you can see the connections to that story, but also this was just so much more. And one of the things that I really liked about this book, despite the fact that I've seen many reviews where folks dislike this aspect, is how real it is. Nathaniel Philbrick doesn't really leave anything out. He gives it to you pretty much exactly as history provided it. There were very unsavory things that happened, starting with the harpooning and killing of whales in droves at a time, and what had to be done to turn those whales into oil. There's some unfortunate catching of other animals and killing of other animals that go on board boats that stay with the crew for a while, and then of course all of the unfortunate things that happen when the human body goes without food and water for a very long time, and the breakdown that happens there, and what you have to do with your fellow shipmates in order to stay alive and stay sane and stay conscious all throughout being in the middle of the ocean in a very small boat. I very much enjoyed the way that this was written, the perspectives that you get. You sort of begin with a man called Thomas Nickerson, and he is a crew member on the boat, and you also have somebody named Owen Chase, who is more, I think he is the first mate, if I'm not mistaken. And there's a lot of toggling back and forth between their perspectives, most likely because they are the ones who left the best records. So you can tell, obviously, that they survive because there are records that are found of theirs. And you're going back and forth between the two of them. They're very different people. They have very different roles in everything. And the juxtaposition of their dispositions is incredible, to see how the same nasty event can be taken and interpreted two different ways, two different sides to history. So I enjoyed the fact that we really sort of stuck with those two perspectives, and others were sprinkled in from time to time, probably based on the amount of remaining evidence and history that there was to go on, but it makes for a very sort of consistent tone to the book. Something else I think this book really does well is to show the class divisions that existed in that particular community. There are a variety of folks who are going out into the boats, and they range from folks who are Black Americans at the time and how they are treated and where their journey takes them and how they are different from the white folks on the boat. And there are also folks who are from the Cape, off of Cape Cod, who come to join, and there are the Nantucketers, folks who are white people who are born and brought up on Nantucket in this whaling culture. And it's the Nantucketers who are prized above all others. There's a very sort of insular community. People want to stay with the Nantucket folks because they don't really trust anybody from the outside. They definitely feel like they're better than everyone because they come from this. It's sort of in their blood, in their community. This whaling thing is their life, and they're proud to go out and carry on the tradition. And you can see those class stratifications in, you know, what parts of the boat people are living in, what boats they wind up in later, who their friendships are with, which ones of them succumb to unfortunate circumstances first or second. It's very easy to see the class divisions, and I liked that that was really brought forward in this narrative. What could have been done is just to list what happened, and instead there's a little bit more analysis about why it could have happened that way. As a lot of you know, I'm someone who really likes a book with illustrations, and I definitely got that in this book. There's a great map that charts their progress here toward the end, as well as a whole section in the middle with sort of these primary source documents that are either photographs or sketches or things of where folks wound up and what the boats looked like and how large a whale is, and, you know, what a sinking ship looks like, and all kinds of things, the names of the folks who were on the boat in the register and everything, and then some photos of folks who were in the crew. And I always appreciate a book with documents like that inside, or with illustrations, or at least, you know, pictures and artist rendering of what could have happened, especially when it's something very historical like this. I just find nonfiction to be improved by images, because I think we're sort of emerging into a world where folks don't have a lot of patience to comb through walls of text, and books very much are walls of text, and it does sort of break up that monotony for folks who are not necessarily always nonfiction readers, but it also just gives you a sense of liveliness to what's going on, which is a difficult thing to say in a book about so much tragedy, but you understand what I mean, I think. There is a film that was made about this story not too long ago, which I have not seen yet, and I might do a book-to-movie comparison later on, but this is definitely a very captivating tale. I can see how it's totally cinematic. I think it's got some very high-profile people in it, but if you are looking for an adventure story that also happens to be true and has a lot of anthropological sort of social science pieces to it, and you are not particularly squeamish, I am not great with things that could potentially be nauseating, but all of these were very biologically explained, very much anatomically explained, and it felt a lot better to have that rather than having to see it or something like that in a very gory type of way. In total, I gave 4 out of 5 stars to In the Heart of the Sea, so great job, Bex, at picking this out for me. It's too bad I wasn't able to pick books for you that you would have enjoyed more. But stay tuned for more reviews of Shelf Sisters books coming from me. I hope you're having lovely weeks and lovely lives. Thanks so much for watching. Everything you want to know about us is in the description, and we'll see you soon.